We need vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, for more than just healthy bones. Now, research has shown that it's good for preventing heart attacks and strokes and cancer and a multitude of things.
You can't have an immune system that works very well without vitamin D. We have major problems.
We've also found recently that vitamin D is good for respiratory problems and for diabetes and high blood pressure and autoimmune diseases too.
Right. What happens is if you have enough vitamin D, you'll be able to stimulate your immune system to fight against the infections that you have. If you have insufficient vitamin D, you don't activate your so-called T cells. And without T cells, you can't mount an immune response.
A few words about vitamin D, just to show you that this is incredible, because we don't have this for very many natural interventions. This is a double-blind study, controlled, double-blind, randomized study of giving people vitamin D or a placebo and looking at cancer rates. And what you're seeing is that the folks who have vitamin D as opposed to placebo have a 75% reduction in the probability of developing any kind of cancer. It's not just one kind, it's any kind. 75%. If you stop smoking, you reduce your chances of getting cancer by 30%. So you should still stop smoking. But this is even more important than tobacco, and it's amazing that every single patient in cancer centers haven't had a vitamin D level drawn on them and a recommendation for getting their vitamin D to an adequate amount. A few words about sunlight. Sunlight as a vitamin. 20 minutes of exposure of your torso and arms and face without sunscreen in the sun of summertime will create 20,000 international units of vitamin D, which then gets stored in your body much more efficiently, in fact, than if you take it as a supplement. So sunlight is a vitamin.
You know that 100 million Americans have vitamin D deficiency. Think about it. 100 million of us, including children. And experts say it could be critical in American health. Dr. Mehmet Oz is here to change that deficiency one viewer at a time. Of course, he is the host of the Dr. Oz Show. It's so good to have you back with us.
Thank you much.
This vitamin is more and more implicated, as we said, in American health.
Well, vitamin D, if I had to pick one vitamin to push to everybody to think about again in their lives, it's vitamin D. It actually becomes a hormone in our body. And it's important not just for bone health, which is where most people think vitamin D is important, but it's important for high blood pressure. It's important for cancer, breast, colon, prostate. And you know what? If you worry about the swine flu today, take some vitamin D, because it's one of the best ways of enhancing your immune system.
60 million years of evolution. Says vitamin D may save your life from swine flu. People still don't get it. Vitamin D is the miracle nutrient that activates your immune system to defend you against invading microorganisms, including seasonal flu and swine flu. 2 months ago, an important study was published by researchers at Oregon State University. The study reveals something startling. Vitamin D is so crucial to the functioning of your immune system that the ability of vitamin D to boost immune function and destroy invading microorganisms has been conserved in the genome for over 60 million years of evolution. The announcement goes on to explain, in primates, this action of turning on an optimal response to microbial attack only works properly in the presence of adequate vitamin D, which is actually a type of hormone that circulates in the blood and signals to cells through a receptor. Vitamin D is produced in large amounts as a result of sun exposure, and is available in much smaller amounts from dietary sources. Vitamin D prevents the adaptive immune response from overreacting and reduces inflammation, and appears to suppress the immune response. However, the function of the new genetic element this research explored allows vitamin D to boost the innate immune response by turning on an antimicrobial protein. The overall effect may help to prevent the immune system from overreacting. Without vitamin D, you're a sitting duck. What this study reveals is that without sufficient levels of vitamin D circulating in your blood, you're a ripe, juicy target for influenza, H1N1 or otherwise. If you lack vitamin D, your immune system can activate to do its job. That's why people who are deficient in vitamin D so frequently get winter colds. But people who are high in vitamin D have the nutritional power to activate their immune system so that it can respond to invading pathogens. Crucially, vitamin D also manages to balance immune response and prevent inflammation, the leading cause of death in the 1918 influenza pandemic. Smart people today are doing two things: 1. Saying no to vaccines, and 2. Saying yes to vitamin D. If you take vitamin D, you don't need a vaccine.
Let me show you a quick animation to show you why the sun is actually the best way of getting those numbers.
Okay.
And if you're in the sun for 15 minutes, Diane, you'll get about 10,000 units. So as I run this animation, you'll see that what happens is that melanin, the little bit of pigment at the bottom of the skin, begins to get released as you see more sun. And that little molecule you saw at the very beginning, that was vitamin D being converted. So the sun rays hit us, converts the cholesterol in our body to vitamin D. That's why in the winter months, starting from right about now, our cholesterol numbers go up.
Is vitamin D a treatment for something, or is it really preventing things? And the answer is really prevention. The word cure, everybody argues about whether things are cures or not cures. What we would like people to understand is that if you normalize your vitamin D, through what we know normalizes vitamin D, perhaps some targeted supplementation, but really lifestyle change, that you really can prevent a lot of diseases. And in essence, you are curing those diseases because you're never going to have them. Probably 90% of our vitamin D comes from sun exposure. The foods that are most important in this vitamin D cure program are simply vegetables, okay? If you were to just take a simple step back and look, what is it we're not getting enough of that helps vitamin D levels go up, helps vitamin D work better, helps balance this acid-base equation we talk about in the book? It's green leafy vegetables. Milk does not naturally come with vitamin D. Cows don't put it in there.
Top 5 Health Benefits of Vitamin D. Absorb nutrients. It helps the intestine absorb nutrients, including calcium and phosphorus. This ensures strong bones and a strong immune system. Prevents rickets. Vitamin D prevents osteomalacia and rickets. Provides calcium. Vitamin D provides calcium balance in the body that prevents osteoporosis or arthritis. Control blood pressure. Vitamin D regulates blood pressure, reduces stress and tension, relieves body aches and pains by reducing muscle spasms, reduces respiratory infections, helps in differentiation of the cells, aids in insulin secretion, helps fight depression, improves overall skin health by reducing wrinkles, makes skin soft, strong, and smooth, and improves cardiovascular strength by providing a protective lining for the blood vessels. Control diseases. Vitamin D is recommended in the treatment of several diseases. It may prevent preeclampsia by improving kidney function, cancer by controlling abnormal multiplication of cancer cells, diabetes mellitus by controlling insulin production, hyperparathyroidism by reducing parathyroid numbers, osteomalacia by improving bone and muscle strength, hypophosphatemia by controlling the phosphates in the body, hypocalcemia by preventing abnormal deposition of calcium, and renal osteodystrophy by regulating calcium content and fibromyalgia.